I was enrolled by my mom, and she told me that I should, join the Boys and Girls Club, which is a part of the Intel Computer Clubhouse at the Yaki Boys and Girls Club. And I found that I learned a lot about computers, and I found it a good experience. Using Photoshop, because I could take a picture of myself and edit it to what I wanted it to be. Just using like the different tools to to make myself in different like images or different backgrounds. Trying to basically do my homework first because I had more of an interest in the computers, and we're all different. We all learn differently, so I feel as if like learning the trade of how to use computers was beneficial to me. I was the average student in high school, and being at the clubhouse was basically a hands-on environment because I was able to work with Mari, and he taught me different things about computers, like the networking and how to understand the whole concept of networks and what computers do and what part goes to where. And it even got down to the point where I broke down my own PC and put it all back together. And I was more of a hands-on student than the actual the book smart student. So that's how I differed, which was a challenge because I try to be that book smart student, and also, I would really learn best from hands-on. The way how my company is set up is that you have to understand how the network is working, because this this whole field of documenting electronic surveys for clinical trials is being newly developed, and if you don't have a mindset of let's say if this then that um, formula, how it works in math, you won't really understand like how the computers are working in the background systematically. Right after high school, I was going to architectural school, and I wanted to be an architect initially. And I also had a major interest in computers, so I was trying to differ between the two, either taking the computer path or the architecture path. Then I switched my educational goals to study business management, and I found that a little bit more enlightening because I'm more interested into the leadership role as I evolved to become an adult, and I found that it was pretty interesting because you could do so much by setting your mind to think in a certain way in order to achieve your goals. And I ended up at my current position just by applying out and stating that I have the background from the computer clubhouse and that I understood like computers and logistics management, things like that. Even though I didn't attend a four-year college, but worked part-time and going to school, I was able to grasp a good understanding of like businesses and how businesses work, which was pretty enlightening for the most part. What I learned from my mentor, Mario Bass, was that even though he was much older and he was my mentor, he was still aligned with my goals and my mindset because for one he had an interest in technology, two he had an interest in me, and three I wanted to be there and I wanted to put myself in that position where I could get involved into the clubhouse, and I basically developed my aspirations over the years, and um, over the years of being there at the clubhouse. I never really seen myself as the studious person that is going to go to college or that's going to get that's going to be the A student. But I did have that drive, and that's what's important about surrounding yourself with the right people in that environment. Because if you surround your negative people, you know, if you surround yourself with negative people, obviously you'll be more like the people that are negative. My mother would say, "Birds of a feather, birds of the same feather flock together," and I got that, so it made sense, you know. So I stuck with my group, but for the most part, um, it's good that a person, you know, seeking advice in the clubhouse, you know, stays with, you know, what they like, and take it everything as a learning lesson. Um, when I was younger, probably like, let's say, before joining the clubhouse, my mother, you know, wanted to see me, you know, get off the streets and not be involved with the negative crowd who was out there, you know, doing the wrong things. So I kind of isolated myself, and I said, hey, I'm going to build my own clubhouse. So I decided to get the doors from the construction site next door. And what I did was I took all the doors. It was about like a good there was like a good 60 doors that was, you know, on hand for me to use. I didn't know if they were free or, you know, if they were going to reuse them. I just thought, I had this idea in my head. I said, hey, I'm going to build my clubhouse. So what I did was I constructed my box out of doors, and I had like a secret underpassage with like the flooring and everything. There was no locks on this thing, but there was like a secret door, which made it even better. So nobody knew how to get in. So it was like a fort. And, you know, it was probably about like 4 feet by 4 feet. Um, and you would be able to fit like 2 or 3 people maybe, or probably like 5 feet. And when I got in my clubhouse and it was finished, I said, you know, this is nice, but there's nobody in my clubhouse, and there's nothing inside of my clubhouse to basically use. So I brought in snacks. I brought in a couple of games, and I invited a friend or two. But that's all, you know. That's all my clubhouse was able to fit. But when I went to the computer clubhouse now, it was big and it had so many resources. I was like, you know what? Forget the clubhouse that's in my backyard that I built, and you know, I basically transitioned from my smaller box to that larger box with a wider group of people and more resources. It's funny, the person that stuck out the most to me was the janitor. He was a crazy guy. And I said, you know what? This guy is crazy. I like him for some reason. He made me laugh. You know, he always had a joke for me. And, you know, he would always pick on me. And for that, you know, I respected him because, you know, if you can make a person laugh, you're going to have their full attention. And his name was Paul. And I went back there to the clubhouse the other day, and he wasn't there. And I was like, well, you know, it's kind of heartbreaking to know that he's not around there for the community to basically shed that light onto, you know, other kids, that joke, you know, that smile, that wonderful aura about himself. And that just goes to show that, you know, you can learn from everybody. And, you know, don't be afraid to, you know, network and meet different people, because it's not only the higher ups that would, you know, make an influence in your life, but also the people who are, you know, doing like everyday tasks. Uh, I feel as if, you know, we had workshops for the community on how to use like different tools that are donated to the computer clubhouses. That would be beneficial, because we have a lot of people who are out there that's, you know, looking to start their own business, or who basically aren't computer literate, um, and they can't do general like computing as far as like Microsoft Word, a typing class. And it'll be good to see like these tools being utilized by the community more often. Um, but that also goes with limited resources. So we can only ask for so much and do the best that we can with the future. At the Boys and Girls Club of at the Yaki Center, they also have like a recreational center that's associated with the computer clubhouse. And I remember this one time, like I was a foosball fanatic. I would love playing foosball. you have the little foosball table and the little soccer players on the table, and it would just be me and this one other guy, who I still talk to till this day, and we would like beat everybody at foosball. It was like the best team matchup ever, and I felt that game was like really important for some reason, because it was like a good team building sport for the most part, and you become closer as friends once you interact in like a team role sport. So definitely hands off. Once you have your hands off the computers and you're doing something more physical, it's definitely going to complement anything else that you're doing.